Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock. We'll go ahead on and call the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll for attendance?
Pugh,
Here.
Livingston,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Aline,
Here.
Mackey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And also welcome councilmen who are not members of the committee, Ms. Little, Ms. Barron, and Mr. Thracio. Welcome. Brings to item 2 on your agenda, which is approval of the minutes for the February 25th meeting, pages 5 through 7. Chair, entertain a motion reference to minutes February 25th.
Mr. Chair,
You're
I'd
next.
like to make a motion for approval of the minutes from February 25th.
Second.
Proper second. Any discussions, changes, deletions? There being none, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion to adopt the minutes?
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
That brings item 3 on our agenda, which is an adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moving proper second. Any changes? Call the roll for the motion to adopt the agenda.
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
That brings us to items for information / discussion. And that is 3A, Transportation Penny Advisory Committee Correspondence, State of the Penny Address, and the information on pages 8 through 15. And again, that's the information and discussion. Does staff need to start off with anything reference that item?
The only thing I would say, Mr. Chair, if I can be recognized, is that during the recent TPAC meeting, there was an item that was voted on to bring to this body to just share with you their perspective on reconsidering the recommendations concerning what the state of the penny may look like going forward. And so they kind of codified that and put it into writing and wanted to share with you their thoughts for your consideration. And so that's really why this is before you as the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee, so that you can receive that, certainly consider that, and make any decisions that you might want to make regarding that, whether that's today or at a future meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. I appreciate it. It is sorry, we were just looking at the screen and our packet is a little fuzzy. Yes, it was. But I can see it. I just think it must be the copy of it when they put it in our packet. It's just a certain section that's fuzzy. Mr. Livingston, I wanted to just address the item 3A. I appreciate the letter from TPAC, and in reviewing it, I'm just going to speak on it because I was mentioned personally in the letter. And do believe that having a State of the Penny is important, and I would believe to say that all my colleagues feel the exact same way and definitely want to move forward with the State of the Penny as soon as possible, that we can plan this early part of 2025 to make that happen. As far as some of the items listed in TPAC's letter, I think, council as well as staff is always open to working with TPAC and being collaborative and helping to deliver State of the Penny. I think my thoughts were that I wanted to leave room every year to be flexible and to not always have the exact same program every year or the exact same folks speaking every year, and being more so responsive to what we're hearing from our constituents. There are some years where maybe there's bigger concerns on certain transportation issues than the other, and I wanted us to leave room in our State of the Penny to be flexible. I also wanted us to leave room to think about the State of the Penny maybe doesn't always have to be in one location or the chambers. Maybe it could be a recorded video so that more people can be involved or participate online. And so I am in full support of Transportation Penny. I just want us to make sure that we are being responsive every year to our residents and concerns we hear, and that we can share those with TPAC and don't have to stick to the same program that we've done year after year. But I am in support of us, staff, working with TPAC to get that done as soon as possible this year, sir. Thank you, Mr. Livingston.
Any other comments? If I recall, there were two things on page 9 in the memo, and that was regarding TPAC leadership as event moderators. I didn't see any concern with that, but then also a collaborative agenda. We all want a collaborative agenda, so I don't see no reason why we wouldn't be supportive of those things. Is there an expectation for any action for council reference this, because it said discussion versus whatever? I don't think council disagrees with what's here. Any other discussions, questions, reference, or any input from staff regarding item 1A?
Mr. Chair, not right now, but I think the clerk was looking in referring to potential, the resolution maybe that you all passed. Maybe there's some information there, but we'll certainly bring that back if there's anything that affects the conversation. But no, there's no additional information.
I guess, Mr. Livingston, I want to reiterate, because Mr. Livingston stated, again, as chair of Transportation Ad Hoc, our goal is to work with TPAC and collaborate. There's nothing in this letter that we are opposed to, but we do want to collaborate and make sure there's room for opportunity. But no one is opposed to anything in this letter. Is that right, Mr. Livingston?
That's great, that's my perspective. Okay, we'll accept that as information. And move us on to item 4 on your agenda, which is item for action, item 4A, Transportation Needs Assessment. Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. If you would recognize Director Maloney, what we basically have here in brief is the actual final report that was put together as a part of the process that this council went through in developing the Transportation Needs Assessment. And so Director Maloney will kind of walk you through that. But at the end of that, we're looking to ask for approval of acceptance of this final report, which would conclude the work that we had with the consultant that provided the service.
And you have to cover specific all 189 pages now.
Yes, sir.
Just highlights.
Just the big topics with it. You know, there was some flexibility involved in from the RFP to the final product, and we thank the consultant for doing that and providing Richland County with the information we needed. But it goes through the goals that were set, the places where information was gathered. It has notes, pictures, and information from the public, all their input, and from the solicitation of what do you want to see out there, what is the problems that you're encountering with traffic and transportation systems. And so all that's in the report, and for that reason I did not reprint it. But it gets to the final point, which is things that we would use going forward, and that is the needs assessment spreadsheet, which indicates the last, say, 4 pages of the report, locations where information arrived from and what those recommendations were. So Central Midlands COG had a list of fairly vetted projects with original estimates that Stantec reviewed and updated, but those are projects that were vetted by Central Midlands COG. And when we went around to the public in the 11 council districts, those projects were on the maps. Then there was the next section is the remaining 2012 Richland Penny projects. These are projects that we felt were feasible but could not be funded by the current penny, and those projects were carried forward. And this is dated, by the way, June 5th. So a lot of things you saw in the very beginning were dated February or March, and this being the final report has that date. There are some things included in here that just recently happened that you've approved to include removing Polo Road, so the widenings that in the remaining 2012 projects are just Pineview Road and Broad River Road widening. And then on the next page, adding Spears Creek Church Road sidewalks to this list was done. So that's a recent add. And while I may not call this a living list, that proved that something could go through TPAC, ad hoc, and council and appear on here. Then there's the Richland programmatic categories. And the one thing about this was preliminary when they were gathering information from the county and from Public Works. And what is actually in the principles document and the referendum is different budgets than you'll see here. So county council looked at community investment projects, and so resurfacing and sidewalks have much fuller budgets than that was shown here in the actual principles document. Then we received information from the towns and cities, from Blythewood, Irmo, Forest Acres, and the City of Columbia, as well as SCDOT themselves, which brings us to USC, and then the public input. And public input had a lot of crossovers, sometimes with DOT. I know DOT and the Richland County attend community meetings, and they also see the traffic problems. So where there was a common project between the public and the DOT, we generally kept that in the public input side. But these projects will all be vetted and scored. We have one of our project managers assigned to that as far as getting this out for an RFP for scoring. We'll need some help with outside consulting to do some of the important things that need to be done with the intersections. There's some 50 intersections on these lists, whereas, you know, with the current penny, we have one left to do, and that's number 12. So this is quite a few more intersections, and they need to be vetted. You know, will they meet warrants? So we're gonna be shooting photographs of the street level, the aerials, and then get traffic counts and accident statistics for each one of these intersections. And that we'll need a little help with, so like I say, we'll be putting that out for consulting. Similar with the widenings, as far as ranking those, we'll be getting a team together for that. So that's all I have on the needs assessment report. And again, final product that we'd be using as the current needs of the Richland County.
One thing I think would be very important is how do we make sure the public doesn't perceive this needs assessment as a list of projects that council's approving to complete based on the referendum, which is not the case. So we got to figure out a way to make it very clear that this is just an assessment. This has to be scored, prioritized, and all those things. Because I can tell you, when most folks, if they get this and look at it, they just assume, okay, my street is there, it's going to be done, and it then doesn't get done, and they wonder what's wrong. So I think it's really important for us to figure out a way to make that extremely clear. And what would be proven tonight is not projects, but just simply accepting the needs assessment. And that needs to be clear in terms of the motion saying we accept the needs assessment. We're not approving all these problems to be completed. And this is not a priority list either in terms of what comes first, second, and third. I think it's really important too. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Maloney, I did have one question. Thank you for breaking this stuff down by districts, by the way. That's very, very helpful. But on the district maps, is there any way council members could request a larger copy of this, or can we go on the website ourselves and pull a larger copy?
We can provide those to you. So larger, I see you have it holding an 8.5 by 11, but do you mean like something that?
Yeah, something I could read. Like I could see kind of the squiggly lines, but I'm not sure what it means. Is there something short of a magnifying glass I can get that, you know?
And I'm not, I think maybe what you're looking at is the original, just the Central Midlands COG.
Okay.
Projects that were planned in Richland County before the needs assessment.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be a complete map of what the needs assessment's looking at.
Yeah, this is just District 6, but.
Right, but, and I think that's just the Central Midland COG.
Okay.
Projects on there, which now is, you know, much richer, but then again, they're not ranked yet, so.
Okay. Should we wait for the ranking then if we're out talking to the folks and like the chairman pointed out, like we don't want to like raise false hopes if it doesn't make the ranking? How soon would the rankings be ready?
Middle of this summer.
Middle of the summer? Okay, well, then it's probably better to wait then.
I think the point too is, why this is for us now is, before they move forward, we got to at least accept the, these assessments, just not agree to anything, but just saying we accept this information so they can move forward.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, I'll certainly wait on that then. Okay,
Mr. Livingston?
thank you, Ms. Chairman.
Can I just add a little piece of information, Councilman Weaver, because you mentioned like how do you share this with the public and rankings? And so as part of kind of the process and protocol procedures that we approved, we would do the rankings on a regular basis. So even when it's ranked this time, it'll be ranked again. I don't know, was it yearly, Director Maloney, or
We would update it annually, yes.
annually?
ma'am.
So remember we talked about something safety or if an area grows, so it could be ranked one way one year, and then next year we'll rank it again, and things may move up and down. So I think we just gotta make sure folks know that, and that is continue to be ranked and continue to go on the website and not think that if you see it one time, that the next year it might change.
We need to add to the map subject to change without notice, something like that.
No, there's notice. But that was part of the process that we approved
Right, I
in the
understand.
new penny, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion, questions?
Motion to approve the transportation needs assessment as presented?
Motion
Second.
presented, properly second. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion regarding item 4A?
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Brings us to item 4B on your agenda, which is on-call engineering team. Mr. Malone, will you first just explain why we have those and their role before we start talking about accepting them?
Yes, sir. Thank you. The Department of Transportation, Richland County, put out an RFP with procurement to solicit for on-call engineering teams to provide engineering services and construction services for the Richland Penny. And this is considering the expiration of contracts we have, and this is renewed every 5 years. And it's also looking forward at the fact that we'll have a new slate of projects to assign with the Penny 2.
Recognize.
So, Mr. Maloney, how does this work? So, can you give us a little bit more detail on what's going to happen with the on-call and why is it on-call?
Yes, sir. So the on-call is what we have now, but then we also have something called staff augmentation. And they operate currently under 2 different types of contract. We're gonna try to get that to 1. But what we did notice with this solicitation, these are good-sized firms, and a lot of them are the ones we have now. I don't know of any that aren't, that were canceled out that we work with now. But there are new firms, some larger firms. There's also firms that didn't solicit here where it would be to the advantage of the county to work directly with them, such as people that just do utility design or just do testing or inspection or real estate acquisition. And so we are putting out another RFP just to collect from them. And if for these individuals who've already solicited and been named, should they be approved by council, they would not be valid in putting in a proposal for the next solicitation. That is for more of the smaller firms and the specialized firms that we need to help out.
Mr. Maloney, does this not anyway circumvent the bid process when it comes to these firms, does it?
As far as, we have Jennifer Ledishkin here, so I would let her answer that in the most thorough way.
'Cause to me, it sounds like the on-call engineers are like a pool that we can pick from when we have projects and we need engineers, right? Right, okay.
Correct.
And
That's
so-
exactly right, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
so this is no way circumvents that process.
No, this is the result of the process we
Gotcha.
just went through.
That's okay. That's what I needed to hear. That's it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
did, but I didn't know if Director Maloney wanted to finish something
We,
there.
we did have a statement in here, and that is to go through the entire list so that, you know, we're not just picking the top 2 or 3, and they're not in that order anyhow. They all had excellent proposals, and that's why they're here. They all had everything we asked for. The way to do it is to go through the list, and then we also mentioned firms will be granted additional assignments by exhibiting both quality and schedule-driven assignment completion. There was a concern that, you know, we have 15 firms on the list, and why not just 5 or 10? And with the amount of work and program work and other needs, I don't think it's too big a list, and number one. Number two,
Yes.
the fact that, you know, some firms may get overloaded by doing one project. And so if we can look at how they're getting the projects done, which is, you know, an issue we're looking at right now with the current penny, that firms that can get it done can get another assignment. I think that is an incentive for them.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. And Director Maloney, that was in line, I think, with my thoughts. I heard you say that this was the list, and then we would, I guess, review it in 5 years. But I guess I would want to know that we are monitoring this along the way. We do have a lot of projects, and if all of these teams are busy working on projects, I don't necessarily want us to be slowed up because we have to wait 2 more years before we open this up to maybe add some folks to the on-call list. And so I guess what I want to know is there still opportunity for, you know, year 2 when we're rocking and rolling and we've collected, but and maybe all these firms are booked, right? Because 15 is a lot, but we have a lot of projects. And so I guess I would want to know, is there the flexibility to open an on-call back up if we find ourselves ready to move forward with projects and allowing maybe some other firms to come in that is not necessarily locked in?
Yes, ma'am. I think I got the nod from Director Ladishkin, and this is, in itself, so far, it's not a contract. As far as I know, there would be contracts, general contracts of type, of, if you will, for being on call in the way that then at that point we can do what's essentially like a task order with each firm once they sign on to the main contract. But that this isn't meant to be in any way to hold back the county from what it needs to do its business.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Recognize Mr. Black and thank him again for his work with our TPAC committee.
Mr. Chair? Yeah, just kind of what they were talking about, I just wanted to say that, yeah, it doesn't limit you. Like, for example, if a year from now, things happen and you figure that, hey, okay, we need to make an adjustment to this list, we want to add somebody, do some, it doesn't stop you from doing that as a council from say, hey, you know, if there's already a contract available for a specific task or something, then that's that. But as far as the list itself, you can adjust the list pretty much at any point. You determine you want to.
Thank you.
Before us then, and I'll entertain a motion regarding item 4B, on-call engineering team as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Properly second. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion regarding item 4B, on-call engineering team?
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on our agenda is item 5. Chair, entertain a motion.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moving properly second for the motion to adjourn. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the motion to adjourn?
Pugh,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Adjourn.